So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 209th episode. In the last 208 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 3,000 educationists, school leaders, influential people in education on this very platform where they've shared their ideas, opinions, innovations, and what all new are they doing in the education space. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 209वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 208 एपिसोड्स में करीबन 3,000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों ने इसी प्लेटफॉर्म पर ये अपनी इनोवेशंस क्या क्या वो नया कर रहे हैं वो शेयर किया, वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है ये दुनिया के साथ साझा किया। तो अगले जो 1 घंटे आप हमारे साथ में हैं, आज का हमारा अमेजिंग जो गेस्ट का लाइनअप है, उनसे हम ये जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि अब जो नया फैड है इन इंडिया स्पेसिफिकली, क्योंकि ये बैच इंडिया सेंट्रिक है, बहुत सारे ग्लोबल बैचेस में दुनिया भर के प्रिंसिपल्स होते हैं, बट टुडे वी आर सिंपली फोकस्ड ऑन इंडिया। तो इंडिया में एक नया एजुकेशन फैड है विच इज द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी। एंड व्हाई आई से इट एज अ फैड, क्योंकि अभी तक उसका स्टेटस वही है, वो पॉलिसी जरूर है, उसका करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क बनना अभी बाकी है। काफी सारे स्कूल्स अपने लेवल पर उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर भी रहे हैं, बट देयर स्टिल सम हेजी स्मोकी क्लाउड अराउंड इट, जो कि एग्जीक्यूशन के मायनों से हमें क्लियर नहीं है। So we'll try to know from our guests today that what do they think, are schools NEP ready? Is their school NEP ready? Or what's new or what's more important that has to be put into the ecosystem so that the school gets NEP ready? So thank you so much everyone for joining us. Before we start the session, just some ground rules. So think of the Blub World Web Talks as a speaking sprint. It's not a speaking marathon. So the speaking time is limited. So once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and enjoyable for everyone. Secondly, this is a bilingual platform. You can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. Language is not a barrier. भाषा कभी भी ज्ञान का पैमाना नहीं होता, उसे केवल भाषा रहने दें। आप अंग्रेजी या हिंदी जिसमें आप कंफर्टेबल हो इस्तेमाल कीजिए, तीसरी कोई भाषा इस्तेमाल मत कीजिएगा, because I might not get it. So thank you so much everyone for joining us for this 209th episode of the Blub World Web Talks. Let's start and let's know about that. Is my school NEP ready? Let's have the bird's eye view first. Let's have the university perspective. कि universities इस पूरे discussion में कहाँ पे अपने आप को देखती हैं? Can they contribute something? Are they out of it? What is the opinion? So let me invite the first speaker for today to initiate the roundtable. A very warm welcome to Mr. Akshay Jain, the Director for Marketing from Amity University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Akshay ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Daksh. And it's like Suraj ko diya dikhane jaisa atmosphere you have created for me here, because all stalwarts here from the industry. And generally what happens is, when we come across a marketing guy, people generally feel that they would only talk about marketing the university. But then you need to understand, unfortunately, me and my team could not tell and share a profile as I am a director admissions and marketing. So for me, the admissions is more important. The marketing comes later. And for admissions, what is more important for me is the counseling, giving a right platform and right guidance to the student who come across. So good evening, everyone, and all stalwarts here. Pleasure to meet you all. My name is Akshay. I myself have had a very interesting career, because coming in from Kendra Vidyalaya setup to moving into an education setup with Ramjas College in honors and statistics, where none of us actually were aware that what statistics can do to my career. I started contemplating, and today actuarial science, data analytics, business analytics is all about the statistics being at the helm of the affair. Had I have got that kind of a foresightedness available to me, I probably would have actually created myself more industry ready. But then no regrets. I realized that it was destined to be like this, so that probably today, this modern world, which is actually running across to be a little data integrated or an analytical side, I'm probably be the best fit to guide them and take them through. And that's what I do with my team also, and I train them across. So not deviating from the topic, coming into the point for national education policy, it's something which is open to all. The objectives of national education policy is very clear, and we all know that it aimed to become multidisciplinary. It aimed to make all the schools or universities or higher education system a multidisciplinary institution offering holistic and multidisciplinary education. Now, do we really need that? One, two. If we need that, then what is it which we're doing right, and what is it which we're doing wrong? Are the questions which we need to ask. So I would really like to enlighten here, the campus which you're seeing at the backdrop of my screen. This is a lush green campus of Amity University, and fortunately or unfortunately, without even thinking that NEP will come into existence, we were already offering this kind of a services to the flexibility potential to all our incumbents. And we have this process of providing a major and a minor. So today, a food technology graduate who's taking admission is BTech Food Technology has an option to parallelly opt for a minor in his business management or a marketing with Amity University. And it is not offered from 2020. It has been offered since the inception of the university. So we were already building in this kind of an atmosphere within the system, knowing that the students have a very flexible and multitasking approach, and they look at building on their core domain with a variety of assets available to them. When it comes to the implementation of NEP, the university at Amity, we have already started working on developing the infrastructure, working out our curriculum in a manner that the integration becomes a little smooth as per the guidelines of the NEP framework. And accordingly, what we have also started to reach out to schools and the other key stakeholders in the ecosystem by making it sure that one of the key highlights here which NEP gives is to collaborate. If you don't have that skill available within your own framework, you may source that skill from other institutions. So is it required to be school to school? No, it is not necessary. It could be university to school, college to school, school to college. There are a lot of frameworks which we need to develop. So here we know that our university is a purse granted. Yeah, our university is a purse granted. I'll just take one more minute. Our university is a purse granted Department of Science Technology affiliated university. We have the modern lab equipments available for biotechnology and engineering sciences or other domain which we offer. If we really want to give that hands-on experience on skilling and upskilling the student from various schools, we are not going to.
Thank you, Akshay. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to, I think, two very important things that you said, that there have to be frameworks that have to be developed, that have to be put in place. Just university school connect be ho, school connect be ho. And already as a university, you're working towards multidisciplinary approach. बहुत सारे domains, बहुत सारी subject variety आप बच्चों को offer कर रहे हैं. That's good to know. Let's try to know it from schools, that what's their opinion, that NEP, when we look at it as a policy, when we look at it as a framework, when we look at it as something that we have to execute within our ecosystem, are schools in that stage that they have implemented it on? Or there is something that's missing, or is there something that can be added to the discussion, that is the school NEP ready? So let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Deepak Khaitan, the Director for Sunshine Worldwide Secondary School from Panaji, Goa. Deepak, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Namaste, Daksh. And it's been wonderful listening to Mr. Jain. I don't know whether most of the universities today are aligned to the NEP or the requirement. Because the most important thing is that whenever I sit in any FICCI or CII meetings, they say there is a big gap between industry and academia. And that is what NEP is trying to bridge. जो बच्चे हैं वो they should be industry ready. आज हम किसी को भी appoint करते हैं, हमको मालूम नहीं है कि वो they will be fruitful to our business or to our client. We have to give them internship, or we have to give them a lot of training before we can really make them useful for our working. And that is what probably NEP is wanting to do, to make them think, to make them application based ready, to make them ready for the real world, the concept learning, not only exam based. That is why the semester system aaya 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th ka, that is in the same line. You can choose your subject and you can work and get credits of what you like to do. It's not a rat race of exam based rat race, a ranking based examination. वो खत्म हो जाएगा. CC was there, which was wonderful, and I was really upset when they took a U-turn. It was a fantastic thing. Now I think they're moving in the same direction, but they have given a bigger window to them, maybe 10 years to 20 years window to implement it, which is good because most of the schools are not ready. Many of schools like ours were already ready, and we have been doing a lot of practical application based learning. Though our parents say that आप बच्चों को पढ़ा ही नहीं रहे हो, आप एक्टिविटी करा रहे हो. हमने कहा कि बच्चा अगर एक एग्जामिनेशन में पास नहीं होता है तो क्या एग्जाम पास करना ही एक एजुकेशन है? बाद में कितने लोगों को देखते हैं, पीपल डोंट नो हाउ टू इवन ड्राइव ऑन द हाईवे प्रॉपर्ली. द फर्स्ट लेन इज फॉर ओवरटेकिंग एंड पीपल जस्ट ड्राइव स्लोली ऑन द फर्स्ट लेन, इसलिए जैम होता रहता है. हम कहते हैं वो एजुकेटेड है बच्चे, जो पढ़े हुए हैं, जो एग्जाम में फर्स्ट पोजीशन लेके आए थे, दे मे ड्राइव अ मर्सिडीज और BMW, बट दे डोंट नो हाउ टू ड्राइव ऑन अ रोड, which is so sad. And we say our education system, exam based system is good. We have not been doing examination right from our inception 2003 till class 7. No examination. We have no textbooks till class 7. We have absolutely no competition, what NEP is also wanting. We should not compete. We should not compare. We should only build the skills in our children. Vocational. आज vocational को लोग कितना नीचा देखते हैं, but it is not required. Vocation से ही सब कुछ चल रहा है. If there is no vocation, there is no economy. Absolutely. Intellectual पढ़ के तो आप exam पढ़ के तो you are going only from one college to the other college and that's all. It is not getting you ready for the market. So probably NEP is a wonderful policy. It's moving in the right direction. Goa has already given us that the age to start nursery is years, which is already going to be across the country, because there were many schools in the country who were taking admissions at 2 years and 2.5 years. And that's the first step to align it with the age. And pre-primary curriculum that has been given by NCF is also wonderful. There should not be textbooks in the pre-primary. There should not be any reading, writing in the pre-primary. It should be activity-based curriculum. So I think it's moving in the right direction. And I would request my fellow principals and directors to look at it holistically and really support the NEP in the right manner. Let's forget examination, comparison, and ranking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepak. Let me try to summarize and take some of the important points ahead. Application-based, learning has to come into place. Exam-based rat race has to end. And I think आपने बहुत अच्छी analogy दे दी that हम basically एक बहुत बड़ा education jam खड़ा कर रहे हैं education highway पे, जहाँ पे हम लोग केवल और केवल एक ही first lane में everybody wants to drive and all the other lanes are left vacant. वोकेशन की ब्रांडिंग अच्छी नहीं है, बट इकोनॉमी वोकेशन ही सपोर्ट कर रहा है. उसकी पोजीशनिंग को सुधारिए, उसके आसपास थोड़ा सा और काम कीजिए. And I think you mentioned some very good activities that you are doing within your institution. No exams till class 7th, no competition. उन्हें collaboration सिखाना, कोई textbooks नहीं देना. This is the kind of approach that should be implemented. I think that's what the policy really wants in its core spirit. So let me move to the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Mandvi Tripathi, the principal of Lucknow International Public School from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Mandvi ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Daksh, and it's wonderful to be here. And as you said, what John Devi said, I think it is very rightly said that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them for tomorrow. So when we come to NEP, I think the whole soul idea can be just brought into one sentence, that we have to produce assets for the nation, not liabilities in all senses. And whether it is skilling and drilling from basic value-based education to ethics to financial literacy, I think they all play a very, very significant role. And since NEP is coming in, and you go back to Gandhiji's Bunyadi Talim also, he just said 5 major points. He said, connecting knowledge to outside world, shifting focus from rote learning. Number 3, enriching curriculum beyond textbooks. Number 4, making education flexible and integrated. And number 5, that's nurturing and overriding identity informed by caring concern. And I think this is what is the crux of NEP also. All the points which Mr. Khaitan also mentioned, I think from the Bunyadi Talim, they are all covered. And these are the basic guidelines of NEP 2020. So what the school needs to do and how prepared schools are, I would just love to say that the school need to work, as said by sir, I with due respect, I agree to it. No books and no curriculum should be defined for the pre-primary. It is the basic level where you nurture students. So please nurture them on the basic values and ethics, dignity of labor, and knowing their own culture. So it's important that you start from the roots, because that's the best way to develop whatever you are doing. Vocational and skill training should be emphasized, and most of the schools, by taking skill subjects, are doing it also. Schools are moving ahead on those grounds. Foundational literacy and numeracy, which is an important aspect, must be taken care. Multilingualism, that is one of the agenda, and is very, NEP 2020 makes it very clear that when learning till grade 5 is in the mother tongue, that becomes more flexible to learn. Although English being a global language is the need of the hour by all our public schools, we have to do it. But कहीं पर अगर हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि बच्चे को समझाने के लिए, जैसा आपने कहा, भाषा बिल्कुल भी वो माध्यम नहीं है, तो ये स्कूल्स को भी समझना पड़ेगा कि अभिव्यक्ति होना जरूरी है, ना कि भाषा का आपको इतना, अगर आप अंग्रेजी ना बोल पाए तो वो आपके करियर की उछाल को तय नहीं करता, वरना आपके सामने आज कुमार विश्वास ना खड़े होते और मोदी जी बात ना कर रहे होते। सो ये कहीं ना कहीं ये जज करता है कि आपके सक्सेस का पैरामीटर आपकी भाषा डिफाइन नहीं करती, इट इज सोल कंटेंट व्हाट यू हैव एंड योर नॉलेज। सो आई थिंक मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म इज अ वंडरफुल फैक्टर, इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन व्हिच वाज always there. Yes, the major focus in NEP 2020 is continuous professional development of teachers, which all schools should take on a priority basis, जिसमें कि generally schools अपनी responsibility, management अपनी responsibility से shirk करता है और teachers उस तरह के professional development programs attend नहीं कर पाते, which is train the trainer is the key concept of NEP 2020, and all schools are trying to do it. CBSE is trying to emphasize on it. I think वो 50 hours training का जो program आया है, schools should take it seriously. Approach to teacher education and skilling and drilling, and yes, of course, bridging the gap. You are preparing the student for life, which is a bigger examination than any other thing that the child has to appear for. So we have to make them future ready. Hence, bridging the gap, that means universities, अमिटी के सर थे और मैं उनसे ये कहना चाहूंगी कि सर, हमारे पास सिर्फ एडमिशन टाइम्स पे नहीं आइए, तब भी आइए और ऐसे काउंसलिंग प्रोग्राम्स और चीजें वो करिए जिसमें कि हमारा और आपका कोलैबोरेशन साल भर बना रहे, बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज के थ्रू हमारा जुड़ाव बना रहे. इट शुड नॉट बी ओनली द एडमिशन टाइम. So self-assessment and 360-degree report card. These are wonderful concepts of NEP, and I think they are going to bring a great change. Schools are making themselves ready, and I hope this turns out to be wonderful.
Thank you so much, Mandvi ji. Let me try to take some of the points ahead. Bunyadi Talim, which typically comes from my experiments with Truth Gandhi ji का एक philosophy की आपको शिक्षा में actually क्या क्या देना चाहिए. Flexibility दीजिए, correct your knowledge to the world, enriching beyond books, relationships ऐसी बने जो कि व्यक्ति को emotionally nurture करें rather than just delivering the content and education. Start from the root. Multilingualism, अभिव्यक्ति versus the language prestige, क्योंकि हमने language को एक brand दे दिया, एक positioning दे दी, हम उसे अपना एक सर्टिफिकेशन मानने लग गए rather than एक मीडियम या माध्यम के जैसे यूज करना. भाषा टूल की जगह हमें भाषा ने टूल बना दिया. So that's a challenge which has to be countered with. CPD of teachers, हम train the trainers करना ही नहीं चाहते because we think we give a lot of value to the shelf life of knowledge of a teacher, जबकि हम जो professionals बाहर निकाल रहे हैं उनकी knowledge की shelf life बहुत shrink हो गई है. So we need to understand that upskilling now is a part of your daily routine. Make point, may way for it. I think CBSE is also trying to do it with the 50-hour curriculum. There's more work that needs to be done. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Pramod Kumar Srivastava, the principal of Model Academy from Jammu and Kashmir. Pramod ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Very well said by Deepak ji, that NEP, what a new name has been given to NEP. Otherwise, since I have been, teaching more than 32 years, I know that what exactly we are, doing in the schools. What all NEP says, except, one thing, that the age barrier, we all were doing the same thing. One thing is nowadays what we have done it in our school after this, NEP 2020, that we have just right from the beginning, if any admissions comes to us, we are not running behind the admission now. And we have put a barrier, right in the, a nursery level. If any child is, above 5 years, then only we are going to take that particular child. So that in due course of the time, when NEP comes into the, action, fully in action rather, right? Then the child is, is ready for, to take the challenges. One thing. Second thing is we all are doing the same thing. In fact, what the bridge, the gap is there between the school and the college. NEP says that, that there's a liberty of, subject to choose in the senior secondary level or the secondary level. Yes, it was there. It was already there in the CBSE, framework. But no school was ready to, to allow any child to opt for that particular subjects, choice of the subjects. If you talk about, like say, the commerce stream child wants to take a physics or a mathematics or something like say chemistry or biology, he is not allowed. But NEP says about any subject, any stream, it's all, no barrier is there. Anybody can take anything. So that flexibility was not there. But now after this, but see what, again, when the child goes out of the completing the, senior secondary level, goes to the, the higher education, there is a barrier is there. Because the stream, is not being distinguished at that particular, college level. So that is the gap that we need to fill in, and that is required. Like Mr. Akshay Jain is here, and he is implementing all these NEP, framework and everything. But where is that gap? Where and how that gap needs to be filled up? Anybody wants to go for the the masters in sciences, and if he is from the commerce background, he is not allowed to do that. The second aspect, that we are not training the children for the life, whether it is values, ethics, or any experimental experience or learning. We do remember that we our teachers, and the parents, they used to send us, to go for the experiential learning. I have been selling to the market to purchase the things, when I was a 5-year-old child. The money has been given to us, go and thus bring these, list is there, go and bring it from the market. From that particular time, I know the numeracy, that what numeracy is in fact. Because after purchasing, we are giving the money, and we are taking back the money, coming back to home and giving the all accounts to the parents. Yes, you have given me 10 rupees. I have purchased the 8 rupees I have purchased, and 2 rupees I am returning you back. So that is what the practical aspects of the real life learning that we are missing. We are bound to, 1 more minute. We are bound to, this one boundary of 4 walls in a room. And parents, they are very, very, protective about the child. Child should not send to the market, should not send to what we're talking about, the vocational courses. Nobody is allowed, the parents is ready to send their child for the vocational courses. हमने इतना पढ़ाया, वो कारपेंट्री नहीं करेगा जाकर के, वो लॉन्ड्री में वर्क नहीं करेगा जाकर के, वो कैंटीन में काम नहीं करेगा जाकर के. So these all barriers are there. Whatever the curriculum we are following, whatever the framework we are working with, if we are not changing the mindset, nothing will happen.
Thank you so much, Pramod ji. And I think you hit the nail on the head. कि वो mindset जो है वो social upliftment चाहिए, community mindset change चाहिए, which is a drive which has to be done. It cannot just be done in a single day. Curriculum change से वो नहीं हो जाएगा. It is typically a societal behavioral change, जिसमें बहुत समय लगेगा, but we need to figure out better ways of doing it. Onus to the kids for experiential learning. I think the most important element that is missing across the board in education is the onus of doing things and taking the responsibility for it. We don't want to trust teenagers. We don't want to trust children. We only want to trust our gut feelings. As educators and as policymakers, they only want to trust their understanding of the world. They don't want another worldview coming from a child. क्या हम सच में एक बच्चे को इतनी इज्जत देने को राजी हैं कि उसकी कोई ओपिनियन है तो उसे हम भी अपने आप में आत्मसात न कर पाए तो कम से कम सुन जरूर लें. So thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Reena Tiwari, the principal of Souvann Millennium Public School from Gonda, Uttar Pradesh. Reena ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Very good evening to you, sir, and good evening to everyone. See, I do agree that being the most reformative step of the history of the education industry is NEP 2020, which emphasizes laying the foundation skill of education, project-based and character development, and focuses on concept and their applications rather than on the rote learning alone. Once the NEP is implemented, 2020 will not only transform the education system of the country for good, but it will also help us to deal with the loss of learning during the pandemic causes. But the problem, sir, here is, as sir said right now, that we are ready to implement 2020 NEP. NEP says that it has to be skill-based training, right? We are open to say the parents that yes, if your child is not studying, he's not good in maths, let him put in the carpentry, let him go for the pottery. But the problem is this, parents says हम तो पढ़ने के लिए भेज रहे हैं, अभी से हमें उनको carpentry नहीं सिखाना है. See, I had a word with the parents that, sir, your child is not good in studies. Let him focus on the skill-based training. But there is a gap between and what the NEP says and what the parent says. Parent says, we send our child to study in the school. Ma'am, not. If suppose, I'm telling you, there is an example, lively example of my school. Our 10th class student, we try to, I just send him for a, let them learn, go and see what exactly skill, how they will be trained up. So I send them in a carpenter shop. I told him, just go and see how they make the things, right? So in between, a child tried, he tried, and he got a small hurt in a finger. And that made chaos parent made chaos to us. I said, see, this can happen anywhere. Suppose a child met with the accident in the school, fall downs, and there is a breakage or whatever. And if a child falls down at home, there the scenario is too different. घर वाला कभी नहीं बोलेगा, लेकिन स्कूल वाला बात बात पे पिंच करेगा कि मैम स्कूल में गिरा था. So we really want to this NEP is very good. At one stretch, it is very good. But the reason is this, ki even school also want, even I want, ki let my child learn. If a child is not good in studies, let him learn something. वो जिंदगी में आगे कुछ बनने के लिए काबिल तो हो जाए, वो कुछ अपने आप को कर सके. लेकिन up to what extent? हम स्कूल में 10 number of skills are there. Are we ready to implement? We are ready, but parents are not ready to take. Though this curriculum, this NEP is wonderful. As sir said कि science वाला बच्चा नहीं पढ़ना चाहता है, वो छोड़ करके commerce पढ़ सकता है. He can go and opt commerce. Commerce वाला बच्चा history पढ़ सकता है. But sir, at the end, the problem is this, still we have the same kind of competition.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And you're very right when you say this, that academic से vocation की journey जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा painful है. क्यों? इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि school नहीं चाहता है, इसलिए भी नहीं कि बच्चा नहीं चाहता है, इसलिए कि the parent does not want that. Because the parent thinks that I paid for a different service and I'm getting a completely different service. उसे एक बहुत ही अलग तरीके का perception दिमाग में है. Because when we specifically talk of India, there is no dignity of labor. Whether we accept it or not, but we do not dignify labor of any sort. We just want everybody to be a strategist. We don't want them to be doing anything with their own hands. And ये बात भी आपकी बहुत सही है कि अगर vocation के लिए promote कर भी दिया जाए, तो भी अगर कोई गलती खुदा न खास्ता हो जाए, तो वो गलती हमेशा के लिए etched in हो जाती है in the school, and that creates a lot of challenges ahead. So thank you so much, Reena ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Somashekharaiah, HM, the principal of PES Public School from Shivamogga, Karnataka. Sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. All the educators from Jammu, Kashmir to Karnataka, the big panel is here. Interesting discussions are going on. I am completely agree with Deepak sir, Mandvi madam, and all others. This NEP thoughts, philosophies, and the 4 pillars of NEP, assessing affordability, equity, accountability, all philosophically they looks very much fine. And in the long run, long back also, when I was in the high school, actually that is junior technical school, in that one in 8th standard, I learned carpentry as well as fitter. In 9th standard, based on the marks they given electricity, electronics, and mechanical like. That time, that was the school, it used to be rush for the admission. That's too much influence was there, money also, no one used to get the admission. But as I told, the dignity of labor is less in India. Because of that reason, that small things like electrical, mechanical, or the carpentry, no one is trying to appreciate if the child does. As Mahatma Gandhi ji also told, in Japanese education system also says, they have to clean their own classrooms, their own bench, desk, and all other things. But now in the big schools, that is crime like. We should not do anything like. So for that reason, those mindset of the parents need to be changed. Educating of the parents is a first task for the government as well as for the schools also. As a part of that one, in our Karnataka government, this academic year only implemented NEP in the higher education institutions. And for the next academic year, as a NCF is released for the nursery second standard, for that reason in 20,000 pre-primary schools are where the pre-primary education is given, they are going to implement. Related that one, government is also given the some guidelines and all other things. As some other principals were talking, without the textbook, that playway method is need to be implemented. That's going on. And as life skills are very much important, it is stress. Financial literacy, entrepreneurship also need to be added from the high school. It is optionally like it is available. It's going on. And among all the CBSE schools, coding is becoming very fancy. I hope most of the schools are already implemented that one. And in the 9th and 10th standard, IT, artificial intelligence, before it comes NEP, many are already implementing. And CBSE also, we received a circular, I think, to establish the skill center labs like that one. We also applied, and many other schools also. I think World Bank is also helping to establish the skill center labs in some of the reputed CBSE schools. So government is ready. Schools are ready. Now the parents' mindset is ready. I hope NEP can be implemented by all the educators, and that a spirit of the NEP can be fruitful for all the students as well as for the parents, for the development of nation. It is good. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you so much, sir. I think people will be very fascinated to know that they have a school leader who knew how to do electrical fittings. So this is something that we need to talk more about. We need to talk to children about that. Why is it important? I think a very nice comment came from someone in the chat itself, that we have got physical freedom, but mentally we are still colonized. So we need to work on this, that why do we not respect anyone and everyone just for the sake of respecting? Why do we need a reason for that respect? Why can't we just consider everyone equal? And why do we want to always find that one leader in the ecosystem whom we can always look up to? Why can't we as individuals, as communities, everyone be the leader? Just take an initiative, be a part of the conversation, tell them how simpler things in life become important when you get, when you advance in your own life. Thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Sunita Puri, the principal of JVP International School from Jaipur, Rajasthan. Sunita ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Namaskar, everyone. And thank you so much, Blub, for providing such a wonderful platform on this relevant topic. And lots of manthans, lot of deliberations, lot of discussion have already been taken place on this relevant topic. First, we need to understand what does NEP wants from us as a school leader, parent, teacher, and a student. NEP itself is a complete holistic document, and which is catering to children of each area, be it social economic background, language background, rural area, or your urban area, where teacher is a trigger point and dissemination is for the learner. And now there are various parameters to check whether we are NEP ready school or NEP fit school. So let us discuss one by one. First is your inclusive education. We have to check whether our schools are ready with proper infrastructure and proper teaching facilities. And teachers should be properly trained. And there are various short-term courses are also available by NCERT and NIOS. And our teachers should be trained. Second point is that ECCE. Early childhood care and education, whether schools are ready to implement fundamental literacy and numeracy and teachers are trained for it. And also I would like to mention lesson planning, learning objectives, learning outcome, experiential learning. and competency-based education, art education, sport integration, etc. These should be incorporated when we plan for our academic planner. This is very, very important. Next, whether your institution is ready with life skill courses or not. Because policy is believing that education should not only develop good human beings, but it also possess your rational thinking skills, scientific temperament, creative imagination, and children should be resilient, compassionate, empathetic, and having ethical values. Now, children should be taught in such a manner that we can evoke critical thinking skills. And here I would like to mention that we are the schools, like once the COVID got over, and we were the first one in Jaipur who started life skill classes for the students. And next is vocational training. Just now we have discussed about vocational training. Here I would like to mention that it is saying that at least 10 hours training of any vocational course should be given. It should be added in your annual planner. Whenever you are designing your academic planner, add like what I am planning to do.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you. So some very important points you talked about the parameters that NEP lists कि जिससे आप अपने स्कूल को टेस्ट कर सके कि स्कूल NEP के लिए रेडी है कि नहीं है, फिट है कि नहीं है. रैशनल, साइंटिफिक, टेम्परामेंट, रेजिलियंस, एम्पैथी, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, बहुत सारे लाइफ स्किल्स और फ्यूचर स्किल्स जिनके बारे में हम बातचीत कर रहे होते हैं. We need to now evaluate the school from the perspective of the content and the place that we have for it. क्या वो दोनों चीजें जगह पर हैं जिससे कि आप ये डिलीवरी किसी ना किसी तरीके से कर पाए और इफेक्टिवली कर पाए, एंड उसके बाद में आपके पास फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म हो ताकि आप डेवलपमेंट को गेज कर पाए या मेजर कर पाए. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Manoj Joshi, the principal of Vedadhara Global School from Jwalamukhi, Kangra, Himachal Pradesh. Manoj ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaste, everyone. It's been enlightening to hear all the esteemed panelists. And I think all of us are in agreement regarding what we want to do and what are our challenges with respect to national education policy. If I talk about my school, its name is Vedadhara. So where we are vis-a-vis national education policy at the moment. So I'd say, as mentioned in the NEP document, we are learning how to learn. That is the position of my school. So as the name suggests, Vedadhara, it was started with the aim to promote education which would be rooted in Indian ethos and Indian values. So there are a number of things which are mentioned in NEP, which we were already doing before the document for national education policy was released. We were already having preparatory plus kindergarten classes. So our children before national education policy also were being admitted in class 1 only at the age of 6 years. So that gave us a kind of advantage, and which I'm sure after the implementation of NEP, all the schools will get to see that children, if they are admitted to age appropriate classes and they study in a stress-free environment, they actually appear bright. One of the best compliments that I as principal have received from parents is that despite of the school being school opens for 5 days for pre-primary and kindergarten classes, the parents come up with a request that please open on Saturdays also, because the child wants to go to school. The child does not want to stay at home. So that is, I guess, how we have been doing things. But as we see the national education policy document meant for all of us, there are many things which are required to be done. We were already doing 3 languages in our school. We are already teaching English and Hindi from class 1, like everybody does. But we are doing Sanskrit also from class 1. We do not have a structured exam for class 1 to 5. And examination for Sanskrit starts from class 6 as prescribed by CBSE. but Sanskrit as the third language is being taught. And the fundamental principles of a national education policy, I guess, like all the schools, we are also working on the same, that is recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of children. Like other esteemed panelists have shared that, providing vocational education to children, providing vocational education because it's been prescribed in national education policy. Yes, sir. Yeah, that is one important thing. But at the same time, I would say that vocational education also provides opportunity to children to actually identify their true potential. So if we are able to convey that to parents, I guess the implementation of NEP will become more relevant and successful.
Thank you so much, Manoj. The first 3 minutes, Aurora. I think a very important point that we can see, a thread that comes in all the conversations, is that make the parent understand what the NEP wants to achieve. Because जो NEP achieve करना चाहती है वो स्कूल तो काफी हद तक समझ रहा है, उसके पीछे कोशिश भी कर रहा है, लेकिन पेरेंट जो है वो उसकी स्पिरिट तक या उसकी एथोस तक पहुंच ही नहीं पा रहा. So there needs to be more conversation with the parents on what does the NEP really want to achieve, what is the government trying to do, and what are all the schools and educationists trying to do with NEP coming into place. Let me invite the last speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Isabel Swami, the principal for St. Mary's Champion HS School from Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Isabel, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Yeah. A very good evening to each and everyone present here. And it was a pleasure hearing everyone, all the stalwarts present here. Of course, all the major points have been covered here by everyone. But still, we all know that NEP, it's a really very progressive one, and everybody knew it. It's it's welcomed by the overall nation. And here I would like to specifically talk about this foundational literacy, ECCE, like early childhood care and education. Here, of course, as it has been discussed, like all kinds of life skills, 21st century skills, creative thinking, analytical thinking, and all these things, it has to be there, and that has to be developed in every child right from the childhood. For that matter, this foundational literacy, that foundational stage, jo hai, first 5 years, and we all know that first 5 years and up to the age of 6 years, every child has got the ability to learn the maximum. We all know that 80 to 90% they have the capacity of learning so many things, and it is said that at this age they can even learn 5 languages at a time. So rightly NEP has said that, talked about this multilingualism. This is the age we can instill these things in them. So when we talk about this foundational literacy, we have to this children, it's also said that it should be a happy environment should be created for the children. So happy learning. So where the environment is very happy and children love to come to school and they love to learn all these things in a fun-based manner and playway method manner. And for this, whether we are ready, whether the schools are ready for that. But still, as it has been already discussed, that even if the schools are ready, teachers are ready, management is ready, but the parents are not ready. Whether the parents are ready, still the traditional thing, many of the parents, they believe in the traditional one, nursery, KG1, KG2 itself, my child should be able to speak in English. My child should be able to write A to Z and all 3 letters of ABCD and all these things. But therein only we have to educate the parents first. So there are no doubt so many training programs have been conducted all these 2 years for teachers and for the management. But I feel that basically these trainings should be also conducted for parents. From CBSE side, parents are also to be trained. This is one thing. So that parents are acquainted, very well acquainted with this NEP. What is the main role of NEP? What is the main motive of NEP? That has to be to be given to the parents. And then for children, if we want a happy environment to be created, first of all, teachers have to be happy. What we have only we can give to the children. So teachers are to be trained for that one. And another thing, pedagogical, if we are going to improve our pedagogical pattern, and then teachers should be given the freedom. We say that it all kinds of activities to be conducted and art integrated to be conducted and multidisciplinary activities are to be conducted. For all these things, then teachers should be given freedom so that they are able to conduct all these things within the time period that is given to them. So likewise, the management.
Thank you so much, Isabel, ma'am. And I think you also echoed with the same emotion that parents samajh nahi pa rahe, and there needs to be more work on the teacher. That is the teacher ready? Are we uplifting the whole ecosystem with us or not? So now we have listened to all the speakers. फौरन सबके हमने opening statements अच्छे जो भी जिन की राय थी, कुछ के facts थे, कुछ के perceptions थे, कुछ लोगों के experiences थे, बहुत तरीके की चीजें हमने पिछले इतने समय में सुनी. But now is an open floor. Since we don't have a lot of time, it's now next 3 to 4 minutes is an open floor. If you want to say something, अगर आप mute कर दिए गए थे, कोई ऐसा important point है जो आप add करना चाहते हैं, so it's an open floor. You can unmute yourself. The only concern, take care of each other. You can unmute yourself, but try speaking it out as quickly as possible as we are nearly at the conclusion. Mandvi ma'am, you've been raising your hand for quite some time. Over to you. कोशिश करें 1 मिनट में conclude करने.
Right, sir. And as we talk, GDP पे 6% about spending on the entire GDP का जो 6% है वो education पे spend होने की बात हो रही है. But constructivism जो है वो अभी भी missing है, और ये acceptance लोगों के लाना. और एक point जो इजाबेल मैम ने कहा, training the parents. ओरिएंटेशन में जब हम पेरेंट्स को सिलेबस के बारे में बताते हैं, तो हम अपनी स्ट्रैटेजीज के बारे में उनको क्यों नहीं ब्रीफ करते, बेटर पेरेंटिंग पॉलिसीज के बारे में क्यों नहीं ब्रीफ करते, दैट दिस इज व्हाट द स्कूल वांट्स फ्रॉम द पेरेंट्स एंड दिस इज व्हाट वी वांट योर चाइल्ड टू बी हियर. हम उस समय सिर्फ मार्केट करते हैं अपने स्कूल को. रादर वी शुड एम्फसाइज ऑन बेटर ट्रेनिंग दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गिव टू द पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो एंड इन्वॉल्विंग पेरेंट्स इन द डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज ऑफ द स्कूल. आई थिंक इसी तरह से हम पेरेंट्स को रोल ओवर कर, जितना हमारा स्टेक होल्डर हमारी एक्टिविटीज और हमारे विजन से क्लियर होगा, उतना वो हमारे साथ कोलैबोरेट कर पाएगा. जो हमारे बीच का कम्युनिकेशन गैप है, आई थिंक जब हम उसको ब्रिज कर देंगे. और साथ साथ में बहुत छोटी सी चीज, फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी से लेके बेसिक चीजें तक हम अपने बच्चों को स्कूल में नहीं सिखाते हैं. वो सारी चीजें बच्चों को ये तक नहीं पता होता बैंक में खाते कितने प्रकार के होते हैं, कैसे खुलने हैं, क्या सिस्टम है. इसके लिए उनको तभी पता चलता है. तो करियर काउंसलिंग यूनिट्स स्कूल में स्टैब्लिश होना बहुत जरूरी है, जो उनको डिफरेंट करियर्स पे ऑप्ट करे. रिसर्च पर ओरिएंट होना बच्चों का बहुत जरूरी है, जो कि हमारा फोकस होना चाहिए. और PG to 8 हमको CBSE कहीं बाउंड नहीं करता, किसी भी तरह से बाउंड नहीं करता कि हम अपने बच्चों से ये काम ना करवा पाए, और आगे भी उसको रिसर्च बेस्ड ही कर रहा है. तो ये हमको खुद को भी स्कूल्स में इम्प्लीमेंट करना पड़ेगा. और टीचर रिक्रूटमेंट में भी बेटर एजुकेटेड, बेटर ट्रेन टीचर्स का चुनाव करना पड़ेगा, जहां पर हम कॉम्प्रोमाइज करते हैं. सो इफ दीज 2-3 थिंग्स आर वर्कड आफ्टर, आई थिंक हम थोड़ा और मूव क्लोजर कर जाएंगे एंड विल बी लाइक रेडी टू इम्प्लीमेंट NEP.
Absolutely, some very good points कि हम लोग हमारी स्ट्रेटजी बच्चे को रेज करने के संबंध में पेरेंट को बताते ही नहीं है, उसके लिए वो हमेशा एज अ सरप्राइज खुलता है. So I think Manoj, you want to add something? You can unmute yourself. अभी it's an open floor. Anyone can unmute and start, sharing your point, please.
I would like to say NEP of course emphasizes कि रोड लर्निंग नहीं होनी चाहिए, और हम सब लोग भी जानते हैं एज एजुकेटर्स के रोड लर्निंग से हम बच्चों को उनके सोचने की क्षमता का विकास नहीं होने देते अगर हम रोड लर्निंग को प्रमोट करते हैं. बट दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चे के लिए सब कुछ चाहते हैं, लेकिन सबसे पहले चाहते हैं मार्क्स उनको 100 चाहिए. क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, डिसीजन मेकिंग, जो फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी के बारे में मैम ने बात किया, या इससे पहले जैसे हमारे पैनलिस्ट दीपक खैतान सर ने एक वंडरफुल बात कही थी, क्लास 7 तक बुक्स को इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करते. I congratulate sir that he has been able to achieve this. लेकिन भारत में मेरे ख्याल से 80% स्कूल्स में अगर स्कूल्स ये करने की सोचे तो वो ठीक से नहीं चल पाएंगे. ये भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है जो गवर्नमेंट को समझना चाहिए, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट अपने स्कूल्स के लिए तो प्लान करती है, प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस के लिए गवर्नमेंट सिर्फ डॉक्यूमेंट्स देती है और उनको सपोर्ट नहीं करती. लेकिन जो भी हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, नेशन के लिए ही प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं। तो मेरे ख्याल से अगर इस मामले में हम लोगों की भी बात सुनी जाए और एज अ सोशल अवेकनिंग ये पेरेंट्स समझ पाए कि मार्क्स और रोट लर्निंग ही क्राइटेरिया नहीं है एजुकेशन का। अभी जैसे एनईपी बात करता है ज्ञान, प्रज्ञा और फिर हम सत्य की तरफ जाएं। भारतीय परंपरा हमेशा से यही रही है। तो भारतीय परंपरा तो ये जरूर रही है, लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से ज्ञान, प्रज्ञा और सत्य, इसका पेरेंट्स के उम्मीदों से कोई सरोकार नहीं बैठता हुआ हमको दिखता है। अगर ये बैठाना है तो फिर ये जागरूकता वहां से शुरू करनी।
I would like to contribute to the further points being raised by Mandvi ma'am, because what happens is you are the nurturing ground and we are the ones who are now taking them and getting them into the industry platforms. Now the problem is common, you know, when we take student inside at the first phase, you know, it's not the student who is deciding on. The student is someone who is wanting to run away from the parents. They doesn't want to be part of. So in my university, I have larger chunk of students from other markets than my state or my city markets. But these students want that exposure which they have missed on here in these markets. Reason being because of the parents' brutal mentality. Now what we have started, we realized this, and what we started to see, let's talk. We all understand the problem. How do we correct it, and how do we move towards implementing the right solutions? So what we started doing is, ma'am said, we've got our alumni on board. Likewise, the school also has the alumni on board. We have created a system wherein our alumni are being asked to interact with these parents who doesn't have that exposure to multiple careers, and the opportunities for them, for us, for as university, our parameter of success judged by the parents is that what kind of placement we have been able to provide them. Okay, now the placements have gone to a 50 lakh rupees per annum placement also, but that's in the cyber security field. And cyber security, MSc cyber security student has got a 50 lakh rupee placement is something which a parent of a student of 8, 9, 10th can't envisage. So what we have started taking for is that we talk about future careers. If we go across our previous, a couple of days back, Satya Nadella was here in India, and his statement was that India is going to be the AI capital of the world, the biggest. But AI doesn't mean science. AI doesn't mean technology. AI doesn't mean engineering. AI is implemented in all spheres of life. So if the student doesn't have that holistic approach, he would not be able to sustain to the world which we're talking about. 2000, we were talking about Y2K bug, year 2000 bug. We were talking about that. 2020, we all are talking about AI. So the student has to get ready for the future, and that is 2028 onwards. And that's what we emphasize on, and that's where we ask our alumni and parents to collaborate and then talk. And that's where we reach out to schools also, and we say, please don't give a session with your students. Either give a session with your teachers, give a platform where we can train teachers and tell them that how the world is and what industry is asking for and what industry demands from us. If you don't want us as university, we will get you industry people on board. We'll get our alumni to you. We'll get them speak to you and make you understand that what the industry is looking for and how the future is shaping up. And then train your 9, 10th, 11, 12 student and get your parents also for the session. And then we will make sure that they get the right information, and then there is a right debate happening. And there is a right point being discussed upon. So if a school does that at their own level, ma'am, we as universities, be it any university from your market, it is not Amity Jaipur, it is any university from your market, you ask them, they will get you the right resources, and then get these parents interact with our resources to make them understand that what is it which the industry is asking for.
Thank you so much, Akshay. We are nearly at the conclusion of this talk, but before this talk comes to an end, Blub World Web Talks जब Blub World शुरू हुआ, बड़े simple से motive थे, और उसमें से एक simple motive ये था कि we should create a repository of knowledge that comes from exchange of ideas. बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होती हैं जो हम इंडिविजुअली जानते हैं, बट हम वो कॉन्वर्जेशंस में नहीं ला पाते. हम बहुत बार ऐसी लर्निंग्स होती हैं जो दूसरों से सीख के अपने पास इंप्लीमेंट नहीं कर पाते. So we said let's bring everyone together and try to create a repository of ideas. और पूरे कोविड के अंदर आप लोगों को जान के हैरानी होगी, कम से कम भी ऐसे 100 आइडियाज निकले थे जो हमारे नेटवर्क के कम से कम 2500 स्कूलों ने अपने अपने इंस्टीट्यूशंस में ड्यूरिंग कोविड इंप्लीमेंट किए, एंड उन आइडियाज को उन्होंने स्केल अप भी फर्दर किया. तो अभी भी इफ यू फील एनीथिंग दैट्स गोइंग ऑन दैट्स समथिंग मीनिंगफुल, ट्राई ब्रिंगिंग इट टू द कॉन्वर्जेशन. बिकॉज हमने एक चीज समझी दैट साइकोलॉजी में एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है, और ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी में उस चैलेंज को कहते हैं स्टोरी बायस, कि हम ह्यूमन केवल कहानियों से सीखते हैं. हमें आसपास की कहानी चाहिए, कोई ऐसी कहानी चाहिए जो हमें समझ में आती हो. So what we did at Blub World was very simple. We said कि जब हम दुनिया भर के बच्चों को और एजुकेशन को इंस्पायर करना चाहते हैं, तो जो काम किसी के लिए हो रहा है, जिसके लिए हो रहा है, who's the focus of it, let's find their story. क्योंकि उनके लिए कहानियां बहुत पुरानी हैं, उनके लिए नई कहानियां नहीं हैं. And that's where Blub World started, where every month we try to find out teenagers who are doing amazingly well in life and try to share their stories with many more teenagers across the world. So if you have teens around you, if you have children around you, find their stories, make them a part of the conversation. We are, doing our bit by initiating the world's first Parliament of Teenagers in partnership with UNESCO, Save the Children. It's a non-profit initiative where we ask that what can a teenager do for the world? If a teen can do something for the world, we train them, mentor them, fund them so that they can scale and work on their ideas. And the best part, nobody has to pay anything to be a part of the initiative. It's a social initiative funded by the Blub World magazine. The only thing that they need to spend is their idea, their intelligence, their vision, and their work. Because we all need to understand one thing. जिस पेरेंट की हम बात कर रहे हैं, जिससे हम इतने ज्यादा कंसर्न्ड हैं, उसका चैलेंज ही यही है कि उसने अपने आसपास की दुनिया को अपनी फैमिली के जैसे कभी देखा ही नहीं. Let's start looking at the world as our own family. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks. This was the 209th episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes, and thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Namaste.